to also put my voice on this. Madam Speaker, both NGAF, CDF, and the Oversight Fund for the Senators are very important for the growth of this country. Madam Speaker, if I was to speak only as a woman rep, I would tell you that NGAF has really changed the lives of many people in this country. There are many of our women, disabled, and youth groups who could not do any other job and wanted a way to start business because there are no job opportunities in Kenya and everywhere in the world, so to speak. And so NGAF has really helped in many, many ways. Nowadays, you can find youth groups who have small businesses and are able to sustain themselves without looking for a job. So NGAF has created job opportunity. Madam Speaker, in the same way, CDF has also helped in supporting educational support the same way that NGAF does it. We have little money in our NGAF fund that we do give in form of bursary. And as little as it is, it makes a lot of change in the society because the CDF office, their money equally is not so much, but if a student could get some little money from CDF, go again to NGAF and get some, at least the child will be able to be sustained in school. Madam Speaker, both in NGAF and CDF, there are groups that also do get business opportunity because in our NGAF fund, sometimes we do tender for supply of goods and services. We do give a portion to the youth and women of this country who are able to do the business, and so we create more job opportunity. Madam Speaker, the health care is also taken care of in CDF because the CDF is able to renovate and even construct small dispensaries within their constituencies. If we were to wait for the national government to do all this, we are guaranteed that it would not happen at the right time. Because, an example, if the president was to know the problems in Nyatike sub-county where I come from, it will take him more than 10 years. Because
I want to inform my sister from...
I didn't give you a chance. I wanted to be on record. Would you like to be informed by the Honorable Nyakundi member for Kitutu Church North?
Yes, information is power.
Okay, you may proceed.
I want to inform my sister from Migori, Honorable Fatuma, that under NGCDF, we don't renovate hospitals or dispensaries. All that is under the devolved functions of the county government. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Fatuma?
Thank you, but I've seen instances where I've seen signboards renovated by CDF. I don't know how that happened. It happened earlier, so I don't think I am wrong.
You appreciate the information that
yes,
has been
I do
given,
appreciate.
but I believe that this must be before devolution.
Before 2015? Well, if it did at that time, it's still recommended. It's still a good idea. Madam Speaker, as we continue, Why all this?
Honorable Fatuma, don't worry, you'll gain all the minutes that you're losing. Is it a point of order or point of information, Chair Finance?
Honorable Speaker, I actually want to support my sister, the Honorable Fatuma Mohammed, and inform the person who raised this point of information that actually if you apply to the NGCDF board, and maybe there was a project in your constituency that was started before the enactment of the NGCDF Act, or that was an ongoing project, whether it is an ECD program or a divisional hospital, that was maybe not complete, and you actually prove justification there is a reason why that is a priority project, then NGCDF has a mandate to grant that exception to NGCDF to do that project. And therefore, it's actually very possible that as recent as maybe this year or last year, what the Honorable Fatma is referring to could actually be happening now. Because as long as you apply for exemption and you show proof that that's a priority project and for the need of the people, then it's actually possible to get that approval.
Thank you. Fatuma, you may proceed. I would also like to add that before the year 2015, I was in this house together with others who came in 2013. We did some dispensaries before we received a letter. Actually, members of parliament, members of National Assembly stopped doing it after receiving a letter that you cannot continue building dispensaries. So you are in order, you may continue, you still have your few minutes remaining.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to all the members who have also given me more information on this. I appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. Madam Speaker, if I was to speak more about GAF, it is only in GAF fund that you'll find the disabled taken care of. The disabled are not able to reach the national government to air their problems. But women reps are the people who reach them, because we even have a location specifically for the physically disabled brothers and sisters. And we do give them monies to start business. We do train them. And so if you were to remove GAF fund, how will these people survive? How will a mother in the village who never got an opportunity to go to school, but is a good mama mboga businesswoman who doesn't have the capital to start any business, how would she survive if you were to remove GAF? If you were to walk in Migori County today, believe me or not, if you were to ask Migori people that there are visitors coming, who would you like to arrive first? They will definitely tell you, I want my woman rep to come. Because they feel we are very close to them. We feel their pain. We do talk to them. We do support them. And we don't do this with our pockets because we can't afford it from our wallets. We have to do it with NGCDF and GAF. Even the senators. Right now, the senators are going around in their counties doing their responsibility. Unfortunately, they have to do it from their salaries, which is not enough to run a county business. And so if we entrench this in the Constitution, they would be able to do their job efficiently and in good time, and we'll be able to support them, do it to the satisfaction of the electorates. Madam Speaker, if we were to remove GAF and NCDF, there is no purpose of having this parliament. Because the reason why these people feel our existence is the projects we do back at home. Other than oversight, other than representation, this is very important for wananchi back at home. In fact, most of the time, they wonder what we are doing in Nairobi. They think they elected us to be at home and participate.
Well, Honorable Fatuma, I still have a point of order from the Honorable Julius Tuitumu, member for Igembe North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
What is out of order?
Is it in order for the honorable member to make a repeated statement that they do give money? Is he insinuating that CDF, GAF, that members are in control when we know that very well the CDF, the GAF money are in the control of the board of the CDF? Ours is only oversighting and is seeing what happens through those funds as representatives of the people. I believe the honorable member should withdraw the remarks that they do. We don't do. We only oversee what is happening through those funds.
Honorable Fatuma?
Madam Speaker,
you may start by commenting on that.
As a woman representative, yes, I do give women empowerment money. The check is not signed by me, but the check is presented through the woman group or the youth group or whichever group by me, directly by me. And I repeat, we do give money in form of checks, a government affirmative check written by the district accountant officer, signed by them, but presented by me. Me, we, the women representative, all the 47 do the same. I don't know how NGCDF works, but when I talk about women empowerment, I will not pretend and say I only oversight. I am in charge by saying I do sit down, discuss with the groups, write proposals for them, and when the proposal passes, I do take the check back at home and give them under a tree and dance with them. So I will not shy away from the truth, Honorable Member. It is very important for my Migori people to know that what I do is not unconstitutional, is not illegal. That is why they elected me. The committee that sits in Nairobi to decide which groups will be given money do not know those groups. It is me who refer the groups to them, and they look into the groups and consider one or two. For there's nothing wrong that I have said. I will not withdraw a true statement. But if in case I said that NCDF gives money, then I would have withdrawn, which I didn't say. But I'm referring to NCDF, NGAF. At the same time, I'm referring to the Senate fund. The money that we give is from the Woman Representative's Office. Madam Speaker, thank you for the time. I do pray that members of Parliament will be here on Tuesday to pass this bill. And to our wananchi back at home, if your member of Parliament is not here on Tuesday, first mark those who are not here today, because we should have passed it today. If they happen to miss again on Tuesday, please put on record that your member of Parliament, your woman representative, is not for your growth if she or he happens to miss on Tuesday. I believe we will all be here. If you come from my county, Migori County, as a member of Parliament and you happen to miss, I will take the message back home to your electorates, because they said they need these funds, they participated, and they were positive about these two funds, these three funds. Madam Speaker, I support and I thank you for your time, and thank all the members who helped me put my point across. Thank you.
Thank you very much, member for Migori County. The Honorable Faisal Badar, member from Sambweni. Sorry, you have been waiting for too long. I was not able to see your card. You've been seated there for so long, but I was not able to see your card on the screen.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipatia nafasi na mimi nikaweze kuongeza sauti katika mjadala wa mswada huu muhimu wa marekebisho ya katiba. Niseme Mheshimiwa Spika, mswada huu ni muhimu sana kwa sababu hazina hii ya CDF imeweza kuondolea Wakenya mzigo mkubwa waliokuwa nao kabla ya hazina hii kuwepo. Ukikumbuka Mheshimiwa Spika, shule nyingi za msingi, shule za upili katika sehemu zetu ni kupitia harambee na michango midogo midogo ambayo wananchi wameweza kujitolea. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi mwenyewe nikijiunga katika shule ya upili niliweza kutozwa pesa ya kununua basi la shule. Lakini kwa bahati mbaya ama nzuri, nimesoma katika hiyo shule miaka 4, basi nikitoka baada ya kumaliza kidato cha 4, basi bado lilikuwa halijafika katika shule. Lakini leo hii hazina hii imeweza kuwatolea Wakenya mzigo mkubwa waliokuwa nao. Na ndio sababu walijitokeza kwa wingi kuunga mkono huu mswada katika public participation. Jambo la pili, Mheshimiwa Spika, hazina hii pia imeweza kusaidia watoto wengi kutimiza ndoto zao za kimaisha. Hapa sasa hivi tumesikia ushuhuda kutoka kwa Mheshimiwa Kimani Kuria vile alivyotuambia. Na lau tukisema wale watoto wote waliofaulu ama waliosaidika kupitia hazina ya CDF wajitokeze, basi nina imani wakipigwa foleni wanaweza kutoka hapa mpaka Mombasa na kupindukia. So Madam Speaker, mimi nataka niseme hazina hii inashughulikia maendeleo katika eneo bunge ambayo ni majukumu ya serikali kuu pekee, kama vile masuala ya elimu, masuala ya usalama na masuala ya mazingira. Na hazina hii imetolewa katika ule mgao wa serikali kuu pekee. Kwa hiyo hata hazina hii ikiondolewa, nataka niwaambie wale wanaosema kuwa ipelekwe katika serikali za ugatuzi, haitaweza kupelekwa kule kwa sababu inashughulikia masuala yanayohusu serikali kuu. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nataka niulize waheshimiwa wabunge wale wanaokaa katika bunge hili, Jumanne kwa uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu tujitokeze kwa wingi kuhakikisha tunatilia mkazo yale matakwa ya Wakenya wakati tulipoenda kwa public participation, ili tuje tupitishe huu mswada, hii hazina iweze kuwekwa katika katiba yetu ya Kenya. Mwisho kabisa tulikuwa pale Msambweni Law Court na jaji mkuu, na nataka nimnukuu wakati amekuja kuzindua local area network. Yeye mwenyewe katika speech yake aliweza kuuliza waheshimiwa wabunge wasaidie idara ya mahakama ili kuweza kujenga mahakama ndogo ndogo katika kila eneo bunge la taifa hili la Kenya, kwa sababu ule mgao wanaopata idara ya mahakama ni mchache na hauwezi kufanya hivyo. Hii inamaanisha kuwa hazina hii inaweza kuleta mabadiliko na imeweza kufika sehemu nyingi katika taifa letu la Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi ninaunga mkono huu na nawauliza wenzangu Jumanne tujitokeze kwa wingi ili tuweze kupitisha mswada huu. Asante sana.
Asante Mheshimiwa Faisal. The Honorable Nyakundi, member for Kitutu Chache North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for also giving me this opportunity to put a word on these special funds of NGCDF. As you know, we went for public participation, and for sure, the public participation was overwhelming in support of these funds, because these funds, in one way or another, are one of those funds that are, one, prudently used, and number two, are funds that have changed the lives of people through, one, the bursaries that we give the young men and women in our various constituencies so that they can be able to support them in their education, either in the university or in the secondary schools that they are. These funds have played a critical role. In my constituency, for example, there are kids that will have not been able to go to school or continue with school because of lack of funds. There are kids that when I came in, I sponsor them, I give them school sponsorship. There's a kid who is in Starehe Boys who was brought up by her grandmother and who could not have been able to continue with school if I was not around to help and support, or NGCDF to be around and support them. So these funds are funds that need to be enshrined in the Constitution, and these are funds that I also think should be increased from the 2.5% to about 5%, because these funds have shown to be working. A good example is the classes that we've been building. Long time ago, we used to call people for harambes so that we are able to contribute money so that we are able to build classes. But since ever these funds came into, we nowadays don't come together for harambes. These funds have been able to build classes, have been able to construct classes. A good example is last year, we did not have classes for JSS, but because of these funds and the funds that came from the ministry, we are able to partner together with the Ministry of Education and the NGCDF, and we built classes within a short period of time. And all the students that were transferring or were going to grade 9 were able to get enough classes to attend to. And the classes that are built with NGCDF are cost efficient and cost effective because we use as minimal money as possible. And there is no bureaucracy in the NGCDF because the number of employees that we have under NGCDF are very few. So I request that if it's possible, we should be able to add more money to NGCDF so that it supports more children, it supports in building classes, and it supports, as most chiefs and assistant chiefs don't have offices. But because of this NGCDF, we are able to build offices for our chiefs and assistant chiefs to be able also to sit and in a clean and good environment so that they can be able to attend to the Mwananchi back at home. These funds are funds that have done magnificent work, are funds that can be seen. You cannot compare these funds with other funds. For example, the funds that go to the counties. You cannot compare at all, because if you go to any constituency, I remember I was in Elgeyo Marakwet for public participation, and everyone who was there said that we have seen what NGCDF has done. We can see the projects for NGCDF, but when you go around, you cannot be able even to see the projects that the county government have done. So these are funds that we need to support. These are funds that we need to come out as members of parliament on Tuesday. Let us make sure that we are all here to make sure that our people back at home get the services that they require through these funds. These funds, the other day, we saw how our young people are able to get employment through the ICT hubs that we are building. And they have been built within a very short period of time. We have built so many ICT hubs within the constituencies across the country, and these ICT hubs have been equipped, and right now we are seeing how the young people are benefiting from these funds. They are able to make a living out of the ICT hubs that we are able to build. I remember we were also doing sports activities. Nowadays, ever since we removed sports out of the NGCDF, the whole country is now quiet because there are no funds, and the young people were able to nurture their talents and showcase their talents out of the little sports that we used, the little funds that we had for sports. And we used to get very good athletes and sportsmen, and they were able to showcase their talents, and we were able to take them to another level. But since they were removed, nowadays the sports activities are so quiet. We also need to add this money so that we return the sports activities, so that the young people, the young men and women back at home, can be able to support them through the sports activities. So I want to support this bill fully, because if there is one bill that the people of Kenya are waiting for and are yearning to see what this House will do about this bill, it is the National Assembly Bill number 4 for the NGCDF. So let us support this bill. Let us make sure all of us are here on Tuesday so that we make sure that this bill is enshrined in the Constitution. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Nyakundi. The Honorable Duncan Mashako, member for Undanyi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this important constitutional amendment, Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill that seeks to enshrine CDF, NGAF, and the Senate Oversight Fund into the Kenyan Constitution. Honorable Speaker, I think this is a good time that we are debating this bill because, Honorable Speaker, we have had a lot of information, misinformation, and misunderstanding around the funds that have been decentralized in this country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, first and foremost, I want to declare that I'm speaking from a point of information, a point of research. I did my master's in public policy and management at Strathmore University, and undertook to delve deeper when I was doing my dissertation on critical appraisal of the NGCDF Act of 2015. And in that research, Honorable Speaker, in my dissertation, I looked at the emerging issues around CDF implementation. I looked at policy options, and I looked at best practices around the world on matters decentralized funds like CDF, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I must declare that I am in support of this constitutional amendment that goes to enshrine NGCDF into the constitution, goes into enshrining women, GAF, National Government Affirmative Action, into the constitution, and at the same time bringing in Senate Oversight Fund into the constitution. Honorable Speaker, when I did this research, I wanted to understand what these other people who keep challenging NGCDF every time they go to court, the many litigants who run to court every time. There are even governors and senators who support such kind of litigation, Honorable Speaker. And when I did this, Honorable Speaker, I was able to interview so many people. And among them, Honorable Speaker, I sat and found time to talk to Treasury mandarins, who are the ones who send this money to constituencies, who send money to the board. I was able to sit with the NGCDF board officials. I was able to sit with the management of NGCDF. I also sought to understand the thinking around our fund managers and the chairman of NGCDF committees, Honorable Speaker. And it's interesting, Honorable Speaker, and that's why sometimes I get confused, where the judges and the people who go to court, where they get their reasoning from. Because truth be told, that when we gave ourselves a new constitution in 2010, Kenyans wanted devolution. But it's important also to differentiate between devolved funds and decentralized funds, Honorable Speaker. Devolved funds are funds that go into the county governments. Everything that goes to the county government, those are devolved funds. But any national government has in itself, within their power, to decentralize funds that are run and run by the executive, Honorable Speaker. And that's why NGCDF and GAF, these are decentralized funds. They're not devolved funds, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, we must say that enshrining, in the research I did, Honorable Speaker, one of the key components of every interviewee I had was speaking about, why don't you enshrine these funds into the constitution? So that then we assure Kenyans, the beneficiaries of these funds, that these funds will remain, their sustainability of the funds, Honorable Speaker. And that was, Honorable Speaker, today, as I speak here, I'm speaking from, I want to speak for the beneficiaries of these funds, Honorable Speaker. It is true. It's been alleged that members of parliament have, a big role to play in running this fund, Honorable Speaker. But the truth be told, Honorable Speaker, what we do is we oversight this fund. Yes, you may not, because it's called a constitution, it's a constituency development fund. It's very difficult to, remove in the people's minds that the MP, the member of parliament, is involved. But Honorable Speaker, again, there's nothing wrong for a member of parliament getting to know what is happening in CDF, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, we must tell Kenyans the truth. Kenyans out there went to for public participation. They gave their views overwhelmingly. 99% in my constituency, Honorable Speaker, 99.9% supported this constitutional amendment, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, the only thing that I want to say is that even as we enshrine CDF, GAF, and Senate Oversight Fund into the Constitution, we need to ask that we do more, we put more emphasis on what we call a principle of good governance, Honorable Speaker. We must ensure that public participation is done and is done correctly, Honorable Speaker. We must ensure that there is accountability and as these funds are being managed, Honorable Speaker. We must also make sure that transparency in what is done in CDF, in GAF, and in Senate Oversight Fund there's total transparency, Honorable Speaker. So then as we enshrine these funds, Honorable Speaker, this principle of good governance becomes the cornerstone of making sure that these funds, one, reach the targeted beneficiaries, but number two, Honorable Speaker, that everything that is done, we eliminate misappropriation, we eliminate corruption. We must also eliminate any, leakages around these funds, Honorable Speaker. Because truth be told, Honorable Speaker, Kenyans out there want CDF to remain. And therefore, when I sit here, and I'm worried that in the next 1 year, there's a pronouncement by the courts that by midnight 30th June 2026, these funds, NGCDF, should not exist. But I'm wondering, there are students there who are in Form 2 today, Honorable Speaker, that are fully sponsored by NGCDF. There are students in the university that have just started their university programs, Honorable Speaker, and they are fully funded by NGCDF. So you wonder, when a judge somewhere says that this fund should cease being there by stroke of midnight in June 2026, it's not considerate that there are students that will have to get out of school because their funding is solemnly from NGCDF, Honorable Speaker. And today, Honorable Speaker, as I stand in this national parliament, I want to speak for a student from Paranga, Honorable Speaker, in Bumingu Kishushe Ward, who is a beneficiary of NGCDF funds and full scholarship and a bursary, Honorable Speaker. I want to speak for that student who is at Mwanda, Mwanda Marungu, Honorable Speaker, who is a full beneficiary of NGCDF, and he or she is in Form 2. I want to speak for that student who is in Sangenyi today in Beruga Ward, Honorable Speaker, and she's fully funded by NGCDF. I want to speak to that student who is coming from my village, Honorable Speaker, Mogo, in Mbale location, who is in Form 2 and want this CDF to continue so that he or she can achieve their academic dreams, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, anyone who loves this country, anyone who wants our children of this country to pursue their academic dreams, Honorable Speaker, and they know there is no other fund in Kenya that is educating as many students as NGCDF is doing, Honorable Speaker. There is no other fund in Kenya, Honorable Speaker, that is doing the wonders that NGCDF is doing, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'll tell you, in my constituency, for instance, I've been able to do, when I came into office, a lot of schools were extremely dilapidated. But through this fund, Honorable Speaker, my work normally is to attend the public participation meetings, and sometimes, Honorable Speaker, just try to help in prioritization, Honorable Speaker. But the NGCDF committee, the members of the public know their challenges, Honorable Speaker. And today we have schools that have been improved. We have schools that are of the same standard as those in Nairobi, Honorable Speaker. When I was growing up, Honorable Speaker, the school I went to, we would carry water so that we can sprinkle water into, the floor. The floor had, of course, so many potholes. So because of dust, we would carry water to make sure that those bottles, the dust does not affect our learning, Honorable Speaker. But today we have schools in my constituency, Honorable Speaker, that are fully tiled. I have schools in my constituency that have ceiling. When it is raining, there is no noise. The learning continues, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, we've done police stations, Honorable Speaker, modern police station to enhance security, Honorable Speaker. I have a police patrol base we did in a place called Lushangonyi, Honorable Speaker, where we had difficulty in matters in security, Honorable Speaker. We had challenges of insecurity. Today, Honorable Speaker, there's a standard police station there, and security has been enhanced in that area, Honorable Speaker. Today, Honorable Speaker, we know through NGCDF, some of the constituencies are even doing electricity, Honorable Speaker. People who had never thought they'll find electricity, but through NGCDF, we're able to do the last mile, to support last mile connectivity. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, as I stand to support this, I want to say that next Tuesday, we must, all of us, be here in this house so that we can vote overwhelmingly, 100%, in support of enshrining this fund, NGCDF, NGAF, and Oversight Fund for the Senate into the Constitution. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Kaluma. Please trace the Honorable Kaluma.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I stand to support this constitutional amendment. Honorable Speaker, the biggest benefit out of our current constitution is devolution. And that devolution, you see it, number one, as a national value under Article 10 of the Constitution, and then you see it in the various chapters, mainly to ensure equity in distribution of resources nationally. Honorable Speaker, a look at the Constitution indicates that Kenyans set the minimum amount of money that shall go to devolution at 15%. Honorable Speaker, when you look at the fourth schedule to the Constitution, functions are shared between the national government and the county governments. And in the national governments, saving some grace on the part of the National Assembly when we are dividing revenue under Article 95, the national government, if you give the counties a minimum of 15%, will be remaining with 85%. Over the years, Honorable Speaker, the national government has always skewed the manner in which resources are allocated and distributed across the country. And so the question we are asking through this bill is, how do we secure that 85% of the national revenue that remains with the national government, at least in some minimal part, goes to every corner of this country, particularly for national government functions, and more so in the areas like education. Honorable Speaker, I have 32 secondary schools. These 32 secondary schools, only 2 were initiated before the Constituency Development Fund was put into place. Meaning we have 30 secondary schools in every corner, in every village, and we continue to develop them, and we aim to have them in each and every primary school. And if you look at those schools, Honorable Speaker, in terms of infrastructure, all the classrooms, all the laboratories, all the libraries, beyond that, the bursaries that is facilitating the students to be in those schools has been from the national government Constituency Development Fund. And so let me clarify to our people that there is no way the CDF can go even to the counties, because this is money being split from the national government share of revenue after division of revenue. And so there is no way that money will go into the county, because by that time, the allocation to the counties have gone. We are talking of how do we secure that at least a part goes somewhere. Honorable Speaker, some people forget, but there is a time in this country when national schools, all the national schools were in one county called Kiambua Crosia. So you had Alliance Girls, Alliance Boys, Loreto Convent, Limuru Convent, Mangu High, and everything. And those were the national schools. When President Moi came in, the national schools opened, and you remember now schools in Rift Valley, a number of them could do well. We have moved to a situation where schools, at the bare minimum, can be established in each and every part of the country, can have students go to school in each and every part of the country. Look at the northeastern part of the country. What schools did we have? What schools do we have in Turkana? The other day there was a video of a pupil looking forward to being a future leader in this country, studying in open air. And I wish most of these Kenyans who are talking of let us allow the national government to do as they will with the money, know that the situation in which we have disparity is largely because we've been sending money to the national government ministries, but they have gone to particular areas. Honorable Speaker, look at the era of Matiang'i. We sent a lot of money towards school infrastructure, but he took all infrastructure funding to his region, a bit to North Rift. You go to schools like Kapsabet Boys, they are more built than Homa Bay High School, because that is where the PS, the CS were coming from. When you go across to Luo Nyanza, just where Matiang'i was coming from there, no single institution was getting school infrastructure. And remember when we diverted CDF money, when we had the first challenge to the 2013 Act, Honorable Speaker, we had that big issue. So I'm saying that we must establish this fund as a fund deriving from the national government share of revenue within the Constitution, so that these people who do not know the impact this important fund has had in the society can appreciate it. It has been claimed, Honorable Speaker, that MPs should not involve at all, and we agree with them. That is one reason as to why we are bringing this constitutional amendment, so that MPs can do their legislative, representational, and oversight role there away from this fund. And so I'm in total agreement with my party leader when he says MPs ought not to involve. And that is partly what we are doing here. We are establishing this fund so that MPs are not there. And by the way, in the NGCDF Act 2015, as amended in 2022 and later in 2023, there is no mention of MPs anywhere. All we do is deriving from our powers under Article 95 to oversight those funds generally. And so we are enacting this to remove those challenges we've constantly had before courts by organizations which do not know the impact this thing has had. Honorable Speaker, when I first became MP here, you would barely get a graduate in our villages because of the NGCDF and the manner it has been applied by the constituency development committees back in Homa Bay Town constituency. My biggest struggle today, Honorable Speaker, is where do I get jobs for the many graduates? I have a situation now where in each and every village, in each and every home, you have a graduate. And there are graduates who came originally from mixed day schools, mixed local day schools built using this fund. And there are graduates you can see are doing things across the country. When things are good, let us have them so. And so I'm saying we are entrenching this as a means to decentralization, which the Constitution is saying must be encouraged, not devolution. And this takes nothing from the governors, this takes nothing from the counties, but this is alive to the fact that under the 4th schedule, there are those functions which are reserved to the national government alone. And the national government, some people think, is oscillating somewhere on the air. That when the national government wants to execute or implement functions, they have then to go to the counties. Then we would not have the 4th schedule saying these are functions of the counties and these are functions of the national government. These are national government functions. And the national government functions have to deal with them from the national level down to the grassroots where it benefits. Some people think that devolution means all monies should just go to the counties. Let me disabuse their mind of that. Honorable Speaker, if we are not careful, counties are becoming a center for centralization of resources. But they are picking on source of revenue from the local people through taxes, and they are also getting the devolved share of revenue from the national government revenue share upon division of revenue. All these monies are collating there. That was not the contemplation of the makers of the Constitution. The makers of the Constitution were saying national resources to ensure equity in resource distribution, over which Kenya had been fighting for very long, must percolate the monies from the national government to the counties, from the counties down to the other levels, deep down to the wards, and deep down, Honorable Speaker, to the local person down there. And those functions go across that way. I want to therefore support this, Honorable Speaker, and pray that this bill passes very quickly, because the things people have been crying about, even the courts, are the things we are addressing so that there is clarity. But Honorable Speaker, as we do that, let me remind our young people that some of these things we are doing, like NGCDF, are for their benefit. We cannot do them in a state that is unstable. There is a move our young people started, and Honorable Speaker, I was personally wishing that the next thing our young people should cry for is free secondary education if our circumstances and finances would allow. But let me tell our young people today that the well-intended movement they started called Gen Z has been captured. And they are now providing mere envelope. They are mere envelope for anarchists out to destroy their country. We want them to step back, allow us to stabilize this country by creation of funds like this, build for them schools, so that when we are done, Honorable Speaker, we can step back and hand over having taken the baton from us. With those very many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I